Oh, man, some of my brothers here on the Locked On Network doing some Lions bashing.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is a Friday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today is Friday, June 20th, into a freaking weekend, and Saturday, June 21st. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody, and checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Shout out to our everyday listeners, the everydayers that are out there that watch the podcast on Locked On Lions YouTube channel or listen to wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for being out there. Heard from some everydayers this week. Our guy Chubbs, who always is with us, sent me some great audio that I'm going to play for you momentarily. George's burner. Yes, George checking in, and I've got a correction that I need to make that George pointed out on Twitter. We will do that. Robert Jennings is another everydayer. Thank you, Robert. And Michigan Mike, who we heard from on the old Blue Sky. Thank you, Mike, for checking in. Thanks to everybody that is with us daily here on Locked On Lions. Many of you everydayers know who you are. That is for sure. Locked On Lions today, brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets, $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That is not too shabby. So appreciate all of you out there that support our sponsors, including our friends at FanDuel. All right, coming up on the program, yes, Locked On NFL hosts Tony Wiggins and David Harrison and D. Harrison. We love David, host also of the Locked On Commanders podcast. I took a little shot at the Lions. I want to play that audio and respond to that. Tate Ratledge made the NFL all-rookie team at NFL.com. It's obviously just a preseason all-rookie team and what they're projecting. But our man, Big Tate Ratledge, made that list. Any other Lions on that list? We'll let you know. I have a correction I need to make as well. And a Bleacher Report writer believes that Za'Darius Smith should be looked at by the Chicago Bears. Could it be Dan Campbell versus Ben Johnson for Za'Darius Smith's services? We will get into that as well right here on this Friday edition of Locked On Lions. All right, I want to play a little bit of audio, and again, this is pointed out to me by our guy Chubbs, who sent this to me on the old Twitter sphere. But look, I've been saying this. I said it yesterday, talking about the NFC North. We've talked about it a little bit the last couple of weeks. It's going to be a hot. What's the words I'm kind of looking for here? It's not going to surprise me that people now, when you make it to the top, people love to, try to jackhammer you down. It's just how it goes. When you're the best, people try to make you into the worst. Once you plateau and the Lions have been rising for years, then it is easy then to start chipping away and hammering them back down. All right. There are plenty of people, including Green Bay Packer fans, that just cannot take it that for the last 2 years, your Honolulu Blue and Silver Gladiators are NFC North champs. All right. They've hung 2 banners. Let's call it what it is. We want the big prize here in Detroit. We want that Super Bowl banner. We just want to play in the game. But there's going to be some people now, especially after last year's 15-win season, but first playoff game exit, divisional round exit. There's going to be some people that go, you know what? I think the Lions are played out. Ragnow's gone. No more Ben Johnson. No more Aaron Glenn. Lee McNeil's out till November. They're not going to be as good, blah, blah, blah. So on the Locked On NFL podcast, and the guys that host Locked On NFL, you know how I feel about Tony Wiggins. T-Wig is my boy, all right? Love that dude. David Harrison does a great job hosting Locked On Commanders. Tony and David were talking about the Lions the other day on Locked On NFL, and take a listen to what they had to say, including David discussing Detroit and if they're able to have a knockout punch. Listen to this.
That ain't what we're used to. But Detroit, their team has been young for a few years, and they've been making this climb and this ascension. Do you think they can still keep it up, David?
I think they can, but I think what they got to find is they got to find their left hook. right? So if you're a boxing fan out there, especially from the 90s and all that stuff, like I was, the Detroit Lions, here's my analogy for the Detroit Lions. Someone go on AI and make this image. The Detroit Lions are Mike Tyson without the left hook.
Come on.
Mike Tyson without the left hook still looks very scary. He sounds very scary, very intimidating personality. But when it comes time to win the belt, he doesn't have what it takes to get the knockout punch. That is the Detroit Lions. They've got all the bravado in the world. Dan Campbell has all the personality in the world. But the Detroit Lions roster, when it comes time to go out there in the championship fight and deliver the left hook to drop the contender, they don't have it. They don't have it. The roster, honestly, it's a little bit fake.
Wow. David Harrison. A little bit fake. Woo. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't agree with that at all. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Lions have not gagged away the last 2 years of an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. All right. 2 years ago, NFC Championship game. You don't need to hear me dissect what happened in San Francisco. The Lions had a big lead at halftime and they blew it. They did. But again, for a lot of those guys, this was their first opportunity in a big stage, and it just didn't happen. And the Niners made the comeback, and you tip your cap to San Francisco. Did the Lions blow an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl 2 years ago? They did. All right. This past year, though, the Detroit Lions won 15 football games with a MASH unit defense. All right. Everybody was out. And then you lose Amik Robertson, your best, nickel corner and everything else, and arguably your best corner left last year, once Carlton Davis got hurt, in the opening stages of that Washington game. Did the Lions play poorly? Yes. Were they favored in that game by 7 or 8 points? Yes. Did they lose to a rookie quarterback? They did. All right. But Jaden Daniels nearly got the Commanders into the Super Bowl. So here's David Harrison. And again, I respect David a lot, host of Locked On Commanders and Locked On NFL, basically saying that the Lions need to find their left hook. They are Mike Tyson without a left hook, and the roster is kind of fake. This football team, what is this football team? Let's just take the playoffs out for a second. I'm just hypothetical. What has this football team done very well over the last 2 years? A 2-year span in which they've won a lot of football games, double-digit wins the last 2 years. This team puts people away. All right. And I know it's regular season. I get that. And in the playoffs 2 years ago against the Rams, they put the Rams away. Against the Bucs, who are a very, very worthy opponent, they put the Bucs away. When the Lions have a team down late in a game, they step on their necks, they use that offensive line, they use that running game, and they pound and they pound, and the game is over. What did the Lions do last year against the Packers on that Thursday night game? The Lions bypassed a Jake Bates long field goal to say, no, we're going to go for it on fourth down. Handed the ball to David Montgomery with Jared Goff tripping and falling, getting the first down, moving closer, running the clock down, and throwing a left hook at Green Bay, where the Packers, led by Jordan Love, couldn't even get back on the field. So for David Harrison to say, well, the Lions need their left hook. No, the Lions need to be healthy. And yes, there's going to be questions about Ben Johnson's successor, John Morton, Aaron Glenn's successor, Calvin Shepard, Frank Ragnow's successor, whomever that may be. We're going to talk about Tate Ratledge momentarily. But to sit here and say, the Lions roster is fake and they've got this bravado, but they don't put teams away. That's all they've been doing the last 2 years in the regular season. Sans NFC Championship game, yes, they did not put anybody away. But again, nobody expected them to go to San Francisco and win that game, let alone be up double digits at halftime. Last year was disappointing, but they weren't in a position last year against the Commanders to put Washington away. The Commanders played a near perfect game, and the Lions couldn't keep up. And defensively, they couldn't stop the Commanders because they had Mo Norris on the field. Okay? I don't necessarily agree that the Lions the roster's fake. We just told you yesterday in Pete Prisco's top 100, the Lions have 8 of the top 100 players in the NFL and would be 9 if Ragnow hadn't retired. So I don't agree with that the roster's fake. I think this team needs to keep growing. I think this team is young and good and talented, and I think they'll be back. Just because they gagged away one playoff game against the Niners, they didn't gag away last year. Washington took it from them. I'm not ready to say that the roster's fake and they don't have their left hook. All they've been doing is putting teams away the last couple of years. Actually, 3 years ago against Green Bay, they put Aaron Rodgers away in week 18. All right, Tate Ratledge gets some love from NFL.com. We'll explain coming up next. This is a Friday LO Lions. All right, folks, Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. NBA Finals in full swing. We got ourselves a Game 7 on Sunday night. All right, awesome. It's what we've been waiting for. First time since, 2016? Cavs and Warriors. Every night is delivered highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, can't miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there hasn't been a better time to get in on the action at FanDuel. MLB season's even heating up. Get in on the action with that. Tigers don't seem to lose ever. You can do that on FanDuel as well. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live Sunday night. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big, all right? How could a $200 bonus in bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? It's simple. Check it all out at FanDuel. If you're new to FanDuel, it is simple. Perfect time to sign up. All you got to do is go to FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. Just $5. If it wins and you cash that ticket, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, back on Locked On Lions. It is a Friday edition. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Hope everybody has a great weekend. And stay cool this weekend. If you don't have to go outside when it's 96 degrees, allegedly, on Sunday, don't do it. But hope everybody has a great weekend as summer is alive and kicking here in the Motor City. All right, as you know, Lions rookies will report July 16th to 222 Rodwood Drive in the Meyer Performance Center in beautiful downtown Allen Park for training camp. One of those rookies that's getting a little bit of shine is our guy Tate Ratledge. I've been lathering up in the Ratledge butter for months now since the Lions drafted him back in April. Today, NFL.com put out their all-rookie team, projecting 11 instant impact newcomers on offense and defense. This was written by Gennaro Felice, no relation to Gennaro Valenti. And on offense, so how many Lions made the all-rookie team preseason, according to NFL.com? The answer is 1. And that 1 would be Tate Ratledge, who is listed as the all-rookie center on this NFL.com all-rookie preseason team. Felice writes, quote, "I'm kind of cheating here, but I think it's allowable. In the wake of Frank Ragnow's retirement earlier this month, Detroit's offensive line is in flux on the interior. Veteran lineman Graham Glasgow could be the initial replacement at the pivot. The Lions were already cross-training Ratledge at guard and center before Ragnow officially decided to hang it up. So the rookie might present a longer-term replacement at this key spot. We'll have to wait until training camp for more clarity. Ratledge appears destined to start somewhere on the interior. And the hyper-athletic big man enters the NFL with an impressive resume, having started at Georgia for the last 3 seasons, earning first-team All-SEC honors in the past 2. End quote. I'm with Felice here, the author, Gennaro Felice. I'm excited about Frank Ragnow, and I do believe that he's going to be the best rookie center in this class. I think he's going to get the nod at center. I do. And I know that there's a lot of talk about, well, you just plug in Graham Glasgow right now, and he's played the position before in the NFL, both here in Detroit and, of course, out in Denver. I think this team sees something in Ratledge and believes that he can be a guy that can dominate at that position and pick it up rather quickly. He's got the size. He's got the ability. Now it's just a matter of NFL reps. He's going to play a lot in the preseason. I think they're going to have to give him that opportunity. And I think he can do it. And look, the Lions knew on draft nights, plural. They knew that Frank Ragnow was considering this. And I believe in getting Ratledge. They wanted to get a guy that could cross-train, that could play guard, that could play center, and is a mauler. So when we get to August and September, I'm of the belief that big Tate Ratledge is going to be the center. Now, I don't know if Mahogany's going to be a left guard. I don't know if Glasgow's moving over to right. Heck, is Miles Frazier, the rookie, going to win a job? Is Giovanni Manu the secret weapon that the Lions are going to put in there and go, hey, watch this. We can plug in Ratledge, Manu, and Mahogany and have Glasgow, who struggled last year, second half of the year. Can we have Glasgow as kind of a swing guy? What if Ratledge wets his pants in the opener? Can we put Glasgow in at center and know that he's solid? I think all these things are going through the minds right now of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. But I'm with NFL.com. I think Ratledge is going to be, the best rookie center out there. Now, he's the only Lion rookie that made that list. Tyleik Williams, of course, first-round pick, was not a part of that list and did not make the defensive line cut, at least as a rookie. There's a lot of good ones certainly in this draft, but that was it. Just Ratledge was on that all-rookie team. I'm excited that people are getting to know that this kid could come in and immediately play well. He played so well at Georgia. That's big-time competition down there at the SEC. Brad Holmes loves SEC players, especially Alabama players. And so I'm excited to see what Ratledge can do. All right, I mentioned before about my guy, George's Burner on Twitter, and he pointed something out to me, and I want to do a correction because I don't always make the right calls, and sometimes I make mistakes, factual mistakes. And when I do, I want to make sure I correct them and get it right. You guys know me pretty well. I've been doing this show now for 9 years here on Locked On Lions. And if I screw up, I admit it. So yesterday I talked about Jameson Williams because on our call of the day, our friend down in Virginia was talking about J-Mo's contract and would he take a team-friendly deal, something around $20 million when his contract is up. And I said, no way. I said, he'll make $20 million in 2026 on his fifth-year option. Well, that's wrong and incorrect. Aiden Hutchinson's fifth-year option, if the Lions don't have a long-term deal in place yet with him, which I hope they will by then, is $20 million. I screwed up. Jameson Williams' fifth-year option is $15 million based on where he was drafted. Okay? So Hutch was obviously taken higher than J-Mo. And so Williams' option is 15, not 20. That still does not change my viewpoint on what J-Mo is going to be worth in the open market if he hits the open market, which I think he will, after the 2026 season. Unless he's been so good for the last 2 years, or this year and next year, that the Lions even franchise tag him. I just don't see a scenario where with all of the guys that the Lions need to re-up, Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, the list goes on and on. Aiden Hutchinson, all right? Kirby Joseph has been re-upped. Aleem McNeil has been re-upped. Amon-Ra, Sewell, Goff. The Lions have some contracts that they've got to dole out to very good players. I mean, heck, Alex Anzalone, Gaines Media poster boy, is hoping for some longer-term compensation from the Lions. I believe that Jameson Williams I don't think Brad Holmes is going to give Jameson Williams $30 million a year, which Amon-Ra St. Brown already gets. You can't. The Bengals put a lot of eggs in that wide receiver basket and have two $30 million receivers in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't see the Lions doing that, and I'm not sure they can afford that based upon all the other guys that they have to re-sign. So, Sam Laporta is another one. You don't think Sam Laporta is not going to get top tight end money when he's up too? A lot of guys that have got to be re-upped. And I'm not saying that the second wide receiver spot is a luxury position, But when you've got a guy like St. Brown, are you also going to be breaking the bank for JMO? But I want to correct myself. His 5th-year option in 2026 is worth $15 million, not $20 million. So there you go. All right. Bleacher Report says, yes, the Detroit Lions should be interested in bringing back Za'Darius Smith. But what about the Bears? Uh-oh. Touchdown Bears. We will get into that coming up momentarily right here on Locked on Lions. And don't forget, folks, tonight after the Tigers take on the Tampa Bay Rays. What time did the Tigers get down to Tampa Bay last night? 2, 3, 4 in the morning after playing late into the night last night with all those rain delays? Regardless, check out after the game tonight, right here on Locked On, the Locked On Sports Detroit YouTube page, or wherever you get your podcasts. Postcast, Tigers postcast with Jake Riepma. Jake does postcasts after all the Red Wing games, after all the Pistons games, after all the Tiger games. And yes, after the Lions games, he does a live show as well on YouTube. Locked On Sports Detroit with Jake. Check him out tonight after the Tigers take on Shane Baz and the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, so we've touched on it a ton on this very program. The thought that eventually our friend, our buddy, Za'Darius Smith would be back with your Detroit Lions next year. As of right now, June 20th at 6 o'clock, as I am recording this very podcast, Za'Darius Smith remains unsigned. As we told you last week or this week or whenever, maybe it was Tuesday, he was at the BET Awards with Cash Doll, the Detroit rapper, and his girlfriend, and was asked by a USA Today reporter what's next for him. And he said, I want to go back to Detroit. I want to be on the Lions. I want to win. I've been to Pro Bowls. I've been on other teams. I've made plenty of money. I'm looking to win, and I loved it in Detroit. So Za'Darius Smith was very open about returning to the Lions. But as of right now, he remains unsigned. Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report believes that not only could the Detroit Lions be a destination for the edge rusher, the free agent 32-year-old edge rusher, but he also believes that the Bears, who of course are coached by former Lions OC Ben Johnson, could be in the mix for Za'Darius Smith. Knox writes, quote, defensively, Chicago could use another pass rusher in the rotation. The Bears signed Deo Odeingbigo to complement Montez Sweat, but the edge depth behind those two guys is questionable. Fortunately, proven pass rushers like Za'Darius Smith, Preston Smith, and Von Miller remain unsigned. It would be smart to add one of them before the start of camp. End quote. Of course, last year in 8 games for the Lions, Za'Darius Smith had 4 sacks. And everybody's been talking about it, including yours truly here on this very podcast, that the Lions need some help at the opposite edge rusher spot across from Aiden Hutchinson. What would absolutely, I think, absolutely suck is if, yes, Za'Darius Smith sort of ended up in Chicago or did end up in Chicago with the Bears. We've touched on it on previous shows. I mean, the Bears, Montez Sweat got a lot of money 2 years ago. And had a huge year when the Bears traded for him in 2023. He ended that season in a big time way, got to the quarterback and got paid, and did not have a great year last year. The other options at edge rusher, I don't think the Lions are going near 57-year-old Von Miller. They know Za'Darius Smith. They know what he can do. And I think eventually he'll end up here. But the question is, Lions have more money than the Bears, by the way, right now to spend, especially with the Ragnow retirement. Za'Darius Smith, the Lions walked away from his second year of his 2-year, $22 million deal, so they weren't going to pay him $11 million. But if Za'Darius Smith is offered a 1-year deal at $7 million by the Bears and the Lions are only willing to go to $5 million, I still think Smith has made it clear that he wants to be in Detroit. But it would certainly be a nice FU from Ben Johnson if he went out and grabbed Smith before the Lions did. And look, every day that goes by, there's that opportunity for Za'Darius to sign somewhere. But a lot of these veteran players, and the Bleacher Report writer Knox put it very well, these guys like Preston Smith and Von Miller and Za'Darius don't want to go to training camp. All right. They don't want to go in the heat in August. And heck, Lions are starting up camp in July. Za'Darius Smith doesn't need training camp or the preseason. He may end up September 1st or August 27th. He may end up going, all right, I'm ready to join the Lions now, or I'm ready to join a team, or hey, Ben Johnson called with the Bears. He knows me well. And I just don't want him in Chicago. You know, the Bears already took our offensive coordinator. They already took our wide receivers coach. They already have DeAndre Swift. They've got Jonah Jackson. They got plenty of Lions there. JT Barrett is there as well, a former Lions quarterback's assistant coach. So Za'Darius Smith to the Bears, floated by a writer, is just a report, but it is certainly interesting. One of our everyday listeners, Joe Allen, I know Joe, anytime he and I ever talk about players that are available, he's like, just as long as they don't go to Chicago. We all here cannot wait and hope and pray that Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and the Bears just fall flat on their face, because the hype for that team is pretty crazy. But again, we know this. Smith's not going to the Vikings. They hate him. He hates them. He's not going to the Packers. They hate him. He hates them. Bears could be a fit for them with some depth needed at that spot. So we'll see. That is for sure. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. We are back with a fresh week of episodes next week, Locked On Lions. We will not have Nate Burleson next week. We're working on him for after July 4th. Nate's got a new drink out called Lion's Blood. He was in town promoting it last week. We're going to get him on the pod likely after the 4th of July. Have a great weekend, everybody. This has been another episode of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.